Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 90 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In the last episode, I hinted that we needed to start working on a mega base. And right now, we're kind of all compacted right in here. But we're going to need to expand, mainly to have space, because we can't really expand this base that much more without all the machines fighting with each other. So we kind of started a little bit by having radars out here. This radar isn't active though. Oh. Looks like I didn't hook up a power line there. Crafting's done. But we're going to need to expand the base. And kind of the first step here is to claim territory. I like using all this water because it means we can create choke points. Like, let's say this was our base and this was biter land. We could put a wall right there, and that'd be the shortest possible wall, and then we would be defended, compared to having to do a wall all the way across here. And it would be really inefficient to wall every single little base we have. Like right now, we've got little walls around our mining, but to put a wall around like this entire area and do it for every single little factory we have, that would get kind of out of hand. So we need to build a bunch of walls. But this is a very time-consuming process, primarily because we're going to be building walls that are very far away from our base, and there's no roads or infrastructure to get there. And it's not really worth the time to build these roads, because we're not going to save the amount of time it's going to take to build the roads in the first place, because we're just not going to go to these walls very often. Hopefully they'll be self-sufficient. So basically, and this mindset applies to every further expansion of your base, because let's say you're building something out here. Well, if you forget something, you're going to have to go all the way down to your base, get it, and go all the way back up there. Then if you forget something again, all the way back, all the way there. So you want to try to use as few trips as possible, be as prepared as possible. So while you're in your base, you want to do all the planning, all the building, and know exactly what you're going to do. So that's kind of how we're going to go about this. And since I found that radar wasn't connected, let's go hook it up. Oh, before that though, we might as well do a little bit of research. Right now, our crawler here is running on solar power, and there's a small degree of battery capacity in the roboports, but this isn't really enough capacity for nighttime building. So let's research some battery tech, specifically vehicle batteries. They're pretty simple, really, just batteries and steel plates. They're not a whole lot different than other battery things we can build, like accumulators. I think, did accumulators require plastic, or they might have been steel too? But it's an easy research and we can build them, so let's research it. Shouldn't take very long. Nope, this wasn't the best idea to come through here. See, this is why we need to expand the base, because that is tricky. Oh, those prospectors aren't really in the right spot. Not that it really matters, but if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm kind of OCD about this sort of thing, so gotta put them in the right spot. Yeah, that's just barely in the wrong spot. There we go. Let's see, that should work. Yep, they have power, but none of the boilers are powered, just because they have no water, and they're not supposed to activate, because we have a accumulator charge right now, so we're all good. Alright, that battery equipment, vehicle battery equipment's done. We might as well hurry up and build them, because it's going to take a long time to charge. The vehicle batteries hold quite a bit of power compared to the roboports by themselves. And while we're here though, if I recall, do we have any extra furnaces? No. Let's move this stuff around a little bit. Just because we have some extras. I find myself constantly accidentally picking all this stuff up, so Boom. Let's just kind of mark that, so if I ever do accidentally pick it up, it'll be a little sorted. But I believe I forgot to upgrade this blast furnace right here. So let's take care of that. Doesn't really matter too much for productivity, but it is a slight energy efficiency increase. So let's do it. Okay, good enough, and upgrade the one we got. And we can kind of throw it in here and mark that. Okay, so what we're going to do is replace some of these panels with batteries. And if there's 24 panels that we're picking up here, then that looks like we're going to need 24 batteries. I'll just pick up a bunch of stuff and start building them. Okay, hopefully I did the math right there. It looks like it. In the meantime, can just kind of drop some of these extra batteries in here. Don't need to hold on to those things. We're not really using them for much. So one thing to note, put that right there, explain that a little bit. One thing to note is that by replacing some of our solar panels with batteries, it means our actual average energy consumption of the robots is going to go down because we have less solar panels. So what we're doing here is trading off our average overall power generation for a higher instantaneous power. Because the idea here is that the crawler is going to be spending a lot of time sitting around, and while it's sitting around, it could be generating power and storing it in the batteries. When we only have solar panels, then all that happens is the roboports get filled up with the energy and then they stop. So having all those solar panels doesn't do anything. So hopefully just 10 solar panels and then a whole bunch of batteries should be enough. Now it's going to take a long time to charge these, not only because we have quite a few batteries, but just less solar panels than we did, really less than half. And that's a lot of power for this thing. And it's gonna take half an hour, quite a while. But the reason why I have this space saved here is so, let's say we're doing a whole bunch of construction and we run out of battery power. Well, then our overall average power generation is based on solar panels. So if these batteries are empty, they're doing nothing for us. So in the event that we run out of battery power, I'm going to pick all these batteries up and replace them with solar panels and just run on that until we're done with our construction project. So what this is going to do is allow us to build much larger projects instantaneously. Because previously we kind of ran into a problem where, especially at night, the roboports could only hold so much power, and then when they're out, they're out. So at least we can do a decent amount of construction at night now. One other thing I remembered is I believe I forgot to upgrade one of the copper belts. Yes. It's a little hard to see, but those are yellow belts. It should have been red. Okay. And it's good that this thing is going to sit here and charge. See, like a tiny little sliver of charge right now. Let's pick up all this stuff. Put those there. We don't really need walls. We need to deconstruct those, but we'll get to that later. Alright, let's clear out some space. So we can make our blueprint. Now, a wall is a pretty simple thing to build, but we're going to be building a lot of them, and we really have no idea how much wall we need. I don't even know if that's enough. Probably isn't, but Looks like it builds pretty quickly, so I'm not concerned about that. We're also going to need a ton of ammo, and this builds very slowly. Might as well just open the floodgates up and let that just go. It's going to take a long time. But the reason why we want a blueprint is so we have a general idea about how much resources to bring when we go around building walls with our robots. Otherwise, it would just guess, and I'm like, I don't know how much. We really don't, and it's a lot of stuff to build by hand, so let's get to it. I guess I should pick up some walls. That would be important. We're gonna need a bunch of turrets, too. What are we short on? Steel. Still don't have the capacity to build very many of these. Oh, because of iron plate shortage. That should be enough. Oops. I'll let that go for a while. Alright. What is a wall? Well, in the simplest sense, it's one of these. But that's not going to keep the biters out. We need turrets. We don't want to put the turrets right up against the wall because the big biters can reach one square. The melee biters anyway. Range biters are just going to shoot it anyway. So we're going to have to put it back here. And we could fill all these up with a bunch of ammo, but that's kind of inefficient. And why do that when we can do inserters? So something like that. Exactly how many turrets? Well, that's not the easiest question to answer. But since there's kind of a set distance between power poles, why not just place them like that? Something like that for the spacing. We're going to get to it in a second about completing it, but we can just have a wall here. Something like that. Doesn't matter. So this is kind of the basic idea. And maybe a light, I don't know. Some lights every once in a while. This is kind of the basic idea. We got an exterior wall with a bunch of turrets with power poles, so we have lights and inserters to put the ammo in, and a belt to supply the ammo. So that way the belt can have one place where we fill up a chest, and then that chest will supply ammo for the whole wall. But what kind of section should we build of wall? Well, we haven't used it yet, but we researched construction robots, at least the Angels versions. Let's make the basic Roboport. It's kind of inferior to the stock Roboport. You see how huge it is. Oh yeah, and we're gonna need to move the truck out of the way because it has construction robots in it and it shows up. There we go, it's just barely out of the way, but it'll work. So we're gonna want to put okay, I don't know, right there. We're going to want to have a construction report. And what this is going to allow is anytime any of these walls take damage, some robots are going to fly over there and fix them, which is fantastic. Otherwise, every single time a wall is damaged, we'd have to run back there and repair the wall. This way, we have a minimum amount of work necessary. Really, the only time we'd ever have to go to the wall is to replace a broken part or upgrade it and make it stronger. If parts are breaking, it's because the wall doesn't have enough turrets, or replace ammo or that sort of thing. So what kind of pattern should we have? Well, let's finish the pattern here for now. Let's send it down to there. Something like that. Because unfortunately, this pattern is not going to line up perfectly with the RoboPort range. We're going to have to make a sacrifice. So that's the maximum range of the RoboPort to the left. So if we repeat the pattern a bunch of times, you can see how it's not going to reach to that final pattern. It's only going to go part way. Something like that. So we're going to have a little bit of overlap on our RoboPort range, which isn't really that big a deal. So it looks like right here. Let's put a wall right there. And how are we going to do it with lights? Well, let's start with a light right there, and then maybe do a light every other turret. Something like that, yeah. Okay, so you see that we're a couple squares short of being able to do another pattern. But every time I move the mouse away, it's going to disappear. But basically what happens is every time we place a pattern down, we're going to want to overlap this section with that section. Because if we don't, we're going to have a tiny little gap right here. A couple of squares that's just not going to be covered. So it's going to have to be something like this. But is this all we need? Not really, because there's some non-pattern items that are going to be a part of this wall. Let me go grab them. Some non-pattern items we're going to need is ammo, because we have to fill the wall with ammo for it to be effective, and we're going to have a lot of walls, so thus we need a lot of ammo. Let's see, I need some bricks. Basically, for swag points, I'm going to put a bunch of bricks down on the wall because it looks cooler to have a brick base than just grass. Or alien grass in this purple case here. Looks a little more consistent. So let's create an inventory with a specific amount of bricks in it. So that's 600 bricks. So let's see how many bricks we have left over after filling up the wall. There we go. So we're left with 201, which means we needed 399 because we started with 600. Yep, that looks pretty good. It's probably going to need slightly less than I'm calculating because there's going to be an overlap on the design, an intentional overlap. See, let's put this right here. Just leave the power pole, because I don't mind building too many power poles. And, here, let's make a blueprint just to kind of show. See, it would be like that. So you can see how the robot range ends kind of right here-ish. And then when we place the next one, we'll line up the poles. You can see how there's just a little bit of overlap. But if we put it in the proper spot over here, there'd be this little gap that's right here that would be empty. So this is going to have slightly too many poles in the design. I kind of like having the pole to line up, but I don't know, maybe for exact number reasons, you should take the pole away. So, something like that. That's the exact number. So now what are we at? 222. So I believe that is 378. So we need to remember that. Let me write that down. 378 bricks. Also, we need to put some ammo in here. This might be a good opportunity to use some loaders. Do I have any? In the truck? No. How are the batteries, though? Like 20% there? Maybe. Alright, no loaders. Let's make a loader. Just put it right here. Just to make it fast and easy to test this. So we need a set number of ammo. Can't fit there. So let's put our little extra right here. So we have 800 ammo. So let's see how much ammo this fills up with. So it's going to fill up one side of the belt. No reason to fill up two sides. It's just kind of a waste of resources. But we also need to get some power here, so the turrets will get filled up by the inserters. So let's just do that. There we go. Let's let all these fill up. And then once all of this is filled, we'll know exactly how much ammo per wall section we're going to need to bring in order to fill it up. Almost. Okay. So let's pick all this up. How much ammo do we have left over? Let's see, 548. Might as well get the calculator for that. 800 minus 548 is 252. So let me write that down. 252 ammo per wall section. That's all the time we have for today. We'll get to part 2 of designing a wall on the next episode. Thanks for watching.